these questions, I would like to invite two interviewers. One is from grade 4. His name is Satyak Mishra. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Second interviewer is Master Aveek Basu. Please welcome him. Now the big question over here is, who is the interviewee? The interviewee is our beloved principal sir. I would like to invite principal sir to come over here and ask questions and answer some of the questions which is related to his personal life as well as professional life. So I would like to invite principal sir with a huge round of applause. Thank you, sir. So here we are going to have the interaction. Over to Satyak Mishra.
Good morning, sir. My name is Satyak Mishra. I am a student of grade 4. My first question is to you is, your name is Dr. Subhas Kumar. Why your parents have chosen this name for you?
Good morning, dear. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. It's a very pertinent and a very beautiful question. This is the question which I ask all of you when you come for admissions or when I meet you sometimes. What is your name? Tell me something about yourself. And why your parents saw this beauty in your name and thought to keep for you. Similar question has come from my dear friend. It was a coincidence that I was born on 23rd January, and it coincides with the birth of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And without any looking into, at that time there was no CGPT and all those kind of things, Google. I was staying in a house. Means my parents were staying there. That house belonged to a Bengali. And one old lady was there. She said, "Hey, chele naam Subhas hobe." The reason was that I was born on that very pious day, and I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to struggle to find a name, because it was not my role to find a name. The role was of my parents and my well-wishers. So without any labor, without any exploration, they thought that my name should be Subhas. And many people's name is being given after 3 months, 2 months. My name was given on the same day when I was born.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. My name is Aveek Basu. I am a student of grade 12. Sir, my first question to you is, tell us something about your childhood days and your bonding with your friends.
I was extremely fortunate to have a very wonderful childhood. The first reason was that I was born in a family, my parents, after 14 years of their marriage, and to be blessed with a son during that time, even now, it is considered to be a blessing. And after 14 years, when my parents thought that they would not be blessed with any child, they got a baby boy, and I was extremely fortunate to be in the lap of that wedding atmosphere. The family was waiting for the child for the last 14 years, and I was born. And coming back to my childhood, as I said that I had a very peaceful, very lovely atmosphere in childhood. I was born and brought up in a small town of Bihar at that time. Bihar and Jharkhand was together at that time. And the place is Hazaribagh, which is approximately 125 kilometers from Ranchi. It's a very beautiful serene place where the surrounding is with a lot of flora and fauna. And I was extremely fortunate to be educated in a very good school, and I'm proud to be alumnus of that school, St. Andrew's School, Hazaribagh, which was run by Australian Jesuits, and we had Australian fathers those who were teaching there. And when you talk about childhood, from 1974 to 1983, I studied in that school. And I'm extremely fortunate. I feel that I have been blessed by Almighty to be blessed in a family where I got a lot of love and affection. At the same time, the school, my neighborhood, it was really wonderful. One more question was posed by Aveek, the same question. What about the bonding with the childhood? I was very playful in the sense. Playful was not childish in nature, it was more of a childlike. I was a sporty kind of a guy where I used to play a lot. And just next door of mine, we had a tennis club. And I was also fortunate to play cricket. That was not in the very early childhood. In the early childhood, when you are 3-4 years of age, there is no opportunity to play for any club cricket or something like that. But we had a lot of children around my house and I played a lot. And when you stay in a colony, the affinity grows and the love and affection is overwhelming and is for a lifetime. Thank you.
Sir, what inspired you to become a teacher?
All bombarding questions are coming. Very beautiful questions. Now I'm in the receiving end. Generally at certain times I ask questions and today I am being asked. It is extremely fortunate on my part. I feel that fortune is twinkling around me and I am blessed with the question by such a small guy of class 4. And before I answer, tell me something about yourself. Your name, your father's name.
Sir, my name is Satyak Mishra. I'm
Which Mishra?
Satyak Mishra.
Satyam. Spelling?
SATYUK.
Satyam. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Why did your father choose this name?
Sir, it means honesty.
So you were very honest right from your mother's womb?
Yes, sir.
So yes, please ask the question once again. What did you say?
Sir, what inspired you to become a teacher?
Before I talk about the teacher, let me drink water. See, when generally very few people nowadays or even during our days, in the childhood, aspiration is to be a teacher. Seldom will find a person in my life. As a teacher, I have asked a lot of students in my classroom, in the assemblies, how many of you would like to become a teacher? There was only one person in my life, as a student, that person told me when I was teaching in Chennai International Business School, I asked one student. But I asked everyone, and the one came forward and told, sir, I want to become a teacher. So, the aspiration for a teacher is very, very less. The same goes with me. When I was in my school days, and when anybody used to ask me, what do you like to become? Sometimes I used to say that I want to become an IAS officer. Sometimes I have to say that I want to become a cricketer. Sometimes I have to say that I become a tennis player. So this kind of aspirations is being seen in all of you also. After passing my graduation, post-graduation, and there was an opening in, I saw in the newspaper, there was an opening in Hindustan Times, opening for a teacher at Varanasi. I thought that my exams are over, the result is over for post-graduation. So I just sent one inland letter. I don't know, many of you may not be knowing what is an inland letter. During my school days, we had inland letter, postcards, envelope is now also. So I sent in an inland letter about a brief of mine, and I sent to the organization, which is JPS the Modi Foundation in Rajghat, Varanasi. I was preparing for civil services, I also appeared for civil services interview. But when I applied for the job in Varanasi, I was called for an interview. I appeared in the panel and I was selected also. Approximately 100 people came and there was only one seat I got selection. And to get a job immediately after your studies, and that in such a beautiful campus of 220 acres, where we had a college and a school both. So I got a job in a college first. By PhD, I was a research scholar also. So I got a job in the college. And on the same campus, we had a school and a college too, both were there. After some time, because I was, as I told you, that I was very interested in sports, games. So in college, nothing was much happening, and in the same campus, a lot of sports was going. So there was a vacancy in the school, so I got an offer from there if you want to join here. And from that time onwards, I joined. I thought, let me, for a short duration, let me join the organization as a teacher, and I will carry forward my aspirations also. But once I delved deep into teaching, it attracted me, and from that time onwards, from 1994 till now, I am a teacher, and I love to be teacher, and I have no regrets. I feel that there is no better job than a job of a teacher. And I feel very proud of it. And I tell you, many thank you to all the students and all the teachers, those who are my colleagues. Right from 1994 to 2023, I think today is 6th of April, or 7th? 6th April. There is no dearth in my life in terms of happiness, in terms of love and affection which I got from my colleagues and my students. And I feel that I have chosen the right job. I became a teacher by choice, not by chance.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, could you tell us about your first air journey? How was your experience? Kindly details, sir.
During my school, college days, or even in job days, traveling by air was a very, very rare opportunity. Only few airline lines were there, and the connectivity was also not so good. We didn't have airport where every time flight was going from Ranchi to Delhi, Ranchi to Bombay, or Ranchi to Jaipur. We didn't have that kind of connectivity, nor flight was there, and at the same time it was exorbitant also. The pricing of a ticket was very high. During my school days, or even when I was in the job, if any house was having a passenger car, a landline, and any visitor used to come by air, people used to flock and ask, "इनके यहाँ कौन आया है? हवाई जहाज से आया सुना?" And in our childhood also, we used to see the flight going in the sky above the cloud. We used to skip or sing for another 20 minutes. Today I saw a flight, and sometimes what happens, the helicopter, politicians used to come to deliver talks and all those things during the election time. And the helicopter used to hover around our houses. So it was a great show, relaxing to the eye. So we used to love to see that. By coming back to the question of Aveek, which year was the first time when I had an opportunity to fly? Fortunately, I flew first time, not in a domestic flight. My first flight was to Singapore. In the year 1999, there was an IB International Baccalaureate workshop was there of Asia Pacific in Singapore, in the United Kingdom of Southeast Asia. Coimbatore, where I was working in Chilka International School, we had an opportunity, 7 teachers were sent to Singapore to get an IB training. And that was the first time I flew from Chennai to Singapore and back from Kuala Lumpur to Chennai. Thank you, sir.
Sir, what activity did you enjoy as a child? Sir, what activity did you enjoy as a child?
Not studying. See, this is a very frank discussion. I'm not talking as a principal of the school. So when I say something, it's not that you go home and say my principal has taught me to study. So what? Because I used to play a lot, as I told you, and playing for 3-4 hours used to keep me fatigued, tired. I was very tired. During that time, there were a there was a lot of electricity cut was there at that point of time. So we used to study in chimney, lantern, and all those things. And I used to find an excuse. I used to say to my mother, my father used to open out. My mother, I am very sleepy. So I used to eat at 7:30 and so I can't see anything in my lantern. So tomorrow morning I will get up and study. So mothers, they are always mothers. They love. Okay, ठीक है. My name was Munna and ठीक है मुन्ना आज सो जाओ. कल सुबह उठ के पढ़ेगा 4 बजे नहीं उठना होगा मैथमेटिक्स पढ़ना. At that time, my mother also said me to only study mathematics. 4 बजे उठकर get up at 4 o'clock and you have to study mathematics and you have to by heart all the tables. I used to say okay. Next day morning again when my father used to wake me up, he used to chant Ramcharitamanas every day. My father. So he used to get up at 4:30 and he used to tell, "Munna उठो, टाइम हो गया कल बहुत जल्दी सो गए थे मम्मी बता रही थी." So I used to ऐसे मेरे पापा नींद आ रही है आधे घंटे में उठता और वो आधे घंटे 6:30 में. तो लेकिन my father was very strict for 1 or 2 days. He allowed that, but second now we have the exams are coming and we have to study. So I used to sleep very early in the night, and that was a trend to me that time also, because light, electricity was often a problem for all of us. So we used to sleep at night, and the whole colony used to be dark by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Even if you go to villages nowadays, you will see that by 9 o'clock, actually people should be asleep. But with the coming of Facebook and Instagram and all those kind of things in the villages also, the youth, they are not sleeping that early. But I enjoyed playing a lot and moving around with my friends, plucking mangoes in the neighbor's house. Those were my pastime. And that plucking was not by permission. I didn't ask the owner. So we had a gang of friends. We used to at 4:30, 5 o'clock when I used to tell to our parents that we are going for having a jogging. My house is near St. Columbus College, and there was a big field. So I used to say that I'm going for fitness, going for running and all those things. 7, 8 friends of ours staying nearby. We used to first pluck few mangoes from the house. Then we used to take the mango, eat sometime in the morning at 5:30. And then after that we used to go to field and come back from there.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, do you think students are different than they were in COVID-19, before COVID-19? What changes have you observed and how have you done that in your classroom?
See, children, whether before COVID or in my time or in Supreme Kudos time or in time of Sayyid or in time of Gyatina, the children always remain the same. But undoubtedly, I'm coming back to your question. Pre-COVID and post-COVID or during the COVID, what happened that by compulsion, for 2 years, the lifestyle compared the children and even the grown-up to change the lifestyle. For 2 years, when we were not in the school, living in the school, so our life became very, very different. The same goes with the children also. How long the child can sit and just talk, even the parents and everybody else was at home. How long? Because everybody, now 2 years ago, we had this Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. So everybody was busy, but more time, digital time was there. So maximum, I felt that children became morose at that. That kind of a joy or a thrill or that naughtiness or that kind of enthusiasm was missing. And that was also experienced in the post-COVID days when the school reopened. We could see the very countenance of the children which reflected. The children doesn't look same the way they were in the March before the first week of March 2020. To what I recall, 23rd to 24th March, when we had the business studies and accounts exam for class 12, at that time all the schools and colleges were closed, and that exam was also conducted later. To what I recall. So am I right? Even if I'm not right, you know whoever's address is what is right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, which is your favorite sport and why?
Till I was in the school in class 10, my favorite sports was cricket. I used to play cricket for Hazaribagh district, I was in the district team, school team there. When at that point of time, I think now also, we have Samasina Trophy, Vijay Parshit, Sikhin Aidu, all those trophies are there. So I was part of Samasina Trophy. But after 10th, I thought now is the time for me to change sports. And as I told you, near my house there was a tennis club. So I joined tennis. I used to play tennis for 2 hours in the evening. And after 10th, I became a little serious in my studies. And it's not that before that I was not studying, but I was more into sports and less of studies, just like my son. My son used to also play a lot and study in this.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what sort of morning routine do you have to get jacked for school?
Again?
What sort of morning routine do you have to get jacked for school?
For myself?
Yes, sir.
Right from the beginning, in my school days in the sense, I was an early riser. Because I used to go for fitness, exercise and all those kind of things. And that habit continued even when I was in a job. And as I told you, I was very interested in sports. That was the reason also that I joined school. So I used to go early morning for PT with the students. And the sports teachers, they were very fond of me because they used to often tell me, Subhash will go and conduct the PT and all those things. So I loved that. So I was early riser right from the very beginning, and now till now, I get up early morning 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I'm habit of listening to bhajan early in the morning. And after that, I go for a walk on the campus. Earlier, just before COVID, I used to go for training and all those kind of things that I was having in my home. But now I've stopped using training and I'm now more into walking and some exercises, those kind of things. But I was an early riser right from the very beginning, and I'm not a person who keeps on awake for late night in the late night also. So generally by 10:30 or 11 o'clock I sleep. And deliberately I sleep 10:30, 11, otherwise I would love to sleep at 9 o'clock. But the job opportunity, sometimes phone comes, sometimes others are calls, sometimes other calls. So if you sleep and again you wake up, then possibly you will not get to sleep again. So keeping that in mind, by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, I go to bed every day. But I get up at 5 o'clock, sometimes 5:30. Thank you, sir.
Sir, which is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Favorite ice cream? Generally, I don't eat ice cream much nowadays. Earlier, I used to take a little bit. So, I love this butterscotch. Butterscotch and Kesar pista.
Sir, what are your thoughts on the role of family, friends in one's life?
The role of family and friends in one's life. I think that family and friend plays a very significant role. And it is not that you only marry a produce child. You should give a time to your family. You should know how to start your job and how to end your job. I don't believe in unnecessarily wasting time. If you have work in office, sit. If you don't have, find after some time, give your time to family. That is very, very important. The reason is that generally many of either wife or children, they are there. And if you don't give time to them, possibly that bonding which you expect and the values which you would like to pass on, you will miss it. So that is why I have experienced that those parents, those who are not giving sufficient time to the children becomes morose, or children becomes, they go to a wrong direction. I am not saying that you always be after the child, but be with the child. That's very important. That is the child or the family, that's very, even if your wife or your mother is working, no problem with that. But you should try to see that you sit with them, you talk to them, you watch TV with them. So as far as possible, that kind of a space is very, 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 very important. That increases your affinity and bondness in the family. At times what happens, then see, when you are husband and wife or brothers or sisters, there may be some conflict at certain point of time. That is another issue. That is very, very natural. Wherever the utensil is speaking, some sound will be there. But even if you have a soundproof room, that sound will be there. Only thing is that you need to balance your life, how to be in a family, how much to talk and how to listen. That is a skill. All the time, if you are reactive in nature, if you are cohesive in approach, if you are physico-centrifugal tendencies, the balance of life will not be there. So you have to balance the centripetal force and centrifugal force in life. That's very, very important. Then only you will have a balance. Coming back to the second part of the question, where you asked about the role of friends, I feel that friendship is very, very important. Nowadays, you have a Facebook friend. That is a different situation. Friend where you can talk to your friends, have a more face-to-face interaction, not Facebook interaction. That is required. And I feel that we are fortunate. I, or Aveek sir, or many of Lakshmi Narayan sir, or many of our teachers also, we have our friends. The reason is that we don't belong to that age where we spend our childhood in Facebook. We found a lot of lost friends on the Facebook, no doubt about that. But friendship, I feel, it is very, very important. Friendship is a testimony where you develop upbringing, you develop a culture of being together to understand how you can help somebody and how somebody can help. That is very, very important. Sometimes your friend is much, much better than your brothers and sisters, maybe your wife and husband or maybe child. That is what friendship is all about. Friendship, I feel, is a pivot on which the life moves. We need to balance the fulcrum.
Sir, what is one of your hidden talents?
Pardon?
Sir, what is your hidden talent?
My hidden talent. See, hidden talent, I can't say myself. Hidden, because it's already hidden. How can I tell about that? But what I feel, hidden talent in a sense, talent within me which I can foresee or which I can estimate or which I can look at, that is, so talent what I feel I am very proud of. In a very tough situation also, I try to keep on smiling and see that the person who is in front of me, he should not be affected by my personal problems or some tension which is in me. So I try to see that I remain cheerful and whoever comes to me or whomever I meet, create an aura of love and affection and see that we all smile together. But always smile is not tearless. Sometimes tears are seen on the cheeks, sometimes it is not.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how does technology make teaching simple or difficult?
See, technology is a great tool, I tell you. I was a teacher when technology was, modern technology was not there. We had only three things: teachers, talk, chalk, and walk. Talk, chalk, and walk. These were the three parameters on which teacher was judged. If a teacher was using properly chalk in the classroom, teacher was talking properly in the classroom, and teacher was agile and moving in the classroom, that teacher was a very effective teacher. But with the passing of time, first of all, I'll go back to chronology. I started my teaching in 1994, and till 1998, I was only in teaching. From 1998 to 2004, I was into administration teaching both. I was IB coordinator, I was vice principal, I was teaching. But from 2004 to 2023, the last 18 years, I am the head of the school. As a teacher, what I felt, when I went to Coimbatore, I experienced technology for the first time. And that time technology was OHP, overhead projector, where we used to prepare transparencies. We had an overhead projector was there, we used to write to the OHP marker was there on a transparency sheet. We used to showcase to the students. That was the technology I started. Then later, computer came. At that point of time, very, very big computers were there. So we used to take the students to the computer lab, teach them how to make a PowerPoint. And we had more technology slowly. We had Intel teachers training program. So what happened? With the coming of technology, with the exception of technology and the modernization of technology, the process of multiple intelligence increased. Where when you teach a student about the function of a heart, where you talk about left auricle, right ventricle, aorta, all those kind of things flowing of pure body, pure blood, you talk. So the students visualize it. But when you show a model on the computer screen, when a child sees the heart pumping, heart moving, then you can understand and teacher can explain why heart attack comes. What is the problem with the heart? What is the difference between arteries and veins? Oxygenated, deoxygenated. So those things becomes very clear. So I feel technology has played a very significant role in emancipating or in trying to bring learning more viable and for life. Otherwise, if you only resort to the books, teachers and students were learning, it was not that. Who found or who experienced or who brought technology also, they were taught in that method only. Now we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about chat, CGPT, all those kind of things are there, the big AI. So slowly the things are going very advanced. But if we use it judiciously, technology is wonderful, and technology is not a replacement of a teacher, but it is a strengthening of tool for a teacher to simplify learning and making learning for a lifetime.
Thank you so much.
Sir, who is your favorite author and why?
See, I love the stories and the writings of Premchand. Though various English writers also I have read a lot and I do read. In English writing, I love the writings of O. Henry. And in Hindi, as I told you, Premchand. I love the stories of Premchand. I have read his translations also, I have read his original Hindi writings also. The beauty of what I see when you go through those books, the writings of Premchand, like Samsumar, Passport, Godan, Gamal, when you read the languages of the people, and when you read, you can visualize the society of that. The same goes with O. Henry. His writing is very, very simple, and it carries a lot of message. Even Robert Greene, Daniel Defoe, Jerome K. Jerome, all those writings, Rudyard Kipling, their writings are undoubtedly wonderful. The translations and drama of Shakespeare is also very good, but original reading is very difficult because the language is often very different in nature. But translations, abridged books of Shakespeare, like Merchant of Venice, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, all those books are wonderful. It's summarized by the original. Julius Caesar, I've read original in drama format. So that is, I have loved the writings of Premchand because of the reason being very simple in status, and it covers the canvas of the society pertaining to that, pertaining to the early modern age.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, this is a very important question. Hope you
Up
answered
to now,
correctly.
all the questions are very unimportant.
No, hope you answered correctly.
Yes.
Sir, on your best friend's birthday, would you give him a book or a big box of chocolates?
If he's my best friend, I prefer to give a box of chocolate and a book. But if you have to give me a choice, see, my friend will be of my age, generally by and large. So I am basically 54, about 55. So chocolate would not be a good option for me. The reason is that possibly he has to maintain good health and increasing unnecessarily cholesterol or sugar in the body is not right. So I tell him, I will talk about the sweets, but I will give him a sweet book which he can read, and maybe that will enlighten him and make him a little better person than what he is doing.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what is your guiding principle in life?
Guiding principle in my life is that Always remain happy, I tell you. Even if you are not a good student, even if you are a bright student, even if you are mediocre, even if you fail in subjects, don't worry too much, I tell you. Worrying too much, it doesn't mean that you fail and you forget. No. You need to analyze yourself. If I have failed, why? But if you are morose and sad and all those things, possibly that will affect your health also, and you will not be able to do what you desire for. So you live in present, and that will keep you happy. If you think too much about your fixed deposit after 10 years, then you will be having a problem. So be today and smilingly try to find the problem. A solution always lies within the problem. Even if you are solving a maths problem, solution is within the problem. Sometimes you may be able to solve the problems, sometimes you may not be able to solve the problems, but the best thing is that if you are unable to solve a problem, either if it is personal in nature or professional in nature, resort to your friends, resort to your seniors, resort to your juniors, resort to your parents, resort to your guardians. That will solve the problems. Sitting on the problem will possibly increase you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what can you cook to perfection, and are you willing to share the recipe?
Repeat it once again.
What can you cook to perfection?
Cook.
Yes.
I am a very simple eater. I am a simple cooking guy also. I can prepare khichdi very well, and I love to eat khichdi. Khichdi, you know what I mean? You know khichdi?
Yes.
So khichdi is a very simple food which you can digest, and I can prepare khichdi very nicely in a 5-star hotel format, and even you can have a burger also.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how do you build relationship with students?
See, relationship becomes is an automatic image. If you are maintaining too much distance, you will not have a relationship. Relationship at a personal level or relationship at a functional level, you have to have a judicious distance, no doubt about that. But you need to meet people. You need to meet your colleagues, friends. If I am a teacher, I should meet my friends as a teacher. Even if I am a maths teacher, it's not I should stop talking to my another colleague who is a maths teacher also. Or if I'm a physics teacher, I should not share my learning or experiences. So sharing and caring will help you to be a better individual. That will create some kind of happiness as well as happiness.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how do you handle failure and sarcasm?
See, sarcasm is something which comes from the other end. For example, there is a person whose name is Joseph. There is nobody whose name is Joseph, that is why I am telling that. He ridicules and creates a sarcasm on you. There is no need to react. Because when you slap someone, you receive a pain, but the person who is slapping you, it's not that he is not getting a pain. The law of friction also applies to a person who slaps. It is often said that when you have an amplitude and resonance, if you hit on the wall, the sound multiplies. If you react, the sarcasm will aggravate. The same goes with your friends also. If all the time you react, somebody says you with your nickname or something like that, there is nothing to bother about that. So sarcasm is something which you need to take sportingly, and if you react for all the statements in life, you will be a loner item. So with the sarcasm, if you have the caliber to pass on the humor, you do that. If you don't have the caliber to pass on the humor, smile. Smile is the biggest roadmap of success and happiness.
Thank you, sir. The last question for the day. Sir, how do you see hostel life for a child?
It's a very good question, actually. The last question was the best question. The reason is that I have not stayed in my hostel during my school or in college days. But when I started my job, from the very first day, as I told you, my job was, I joined as a teacher in Rajghat Crescent School. Annie Besant, name you must be knowing. Annie Besant was the adopted daughter of J. Krishnamurti. As Annie Besant was from England, you must be knowing that she started Indian Theosophical Society. Those Theosophical Society was not started by Annie Besant. This was started by Madam H.P. Varmarsky and Colonel O.S. Walcott. So from the very first day, In my job, I was in the hostel, and as I used to love the children, so I was also given an opportunity to, along with the teaching, to take care of the students also as a hostel in charge. So I was in charge of 10 hostels in my first job only, where I used to teach and I was hostel superintendent also. And I saw the students, and I feel that the level of confidence with the students in the hostel generates, whether a child is of class 4, 5 or in class 12, that is tremendous, I tell you. The confidence level, because when I see them, some of my students, they are in Ranchi, when I was in Ranchi, few days ago, one doctor who is in the Tata Memorial Hospital, he came to meet me with few plans. And I saw the maturity which he has developed. He was a very naughty guy during the school days. So hostel life is at times a bit difficult because living parents is not easy. But what you get the momentum in life, the confidence, that is tremendous, and you become individual. You can see changing yourself a bit. Before 8th class, you were in just 7th class, you were studying in Calcutta. I think shortly, where was it? Yes, Calcutta. So you must have seen the transformation in yourself as a hostel student, because in Calcutta possibly you must be getting cake every day for the breakfast. Here you will not get, sometimes you will get jalebi puri, sometimes you will get sandwiches, sometimes you will get omelette and plain bread, sometimes you will get idli and dosa. So we have a variety. At home what happens, what you demand your parents fulfill, and your over-dependence or over-dependency becomes a great threat to life. So it is often said, under a big tree, a small tree never grows. So you have to space it in between the two trees. If you have two trees spaced, both the trees will grow, and then the proper photosynthesis, chlorophyll will be balanced, osmosis and diffusion will take place, and the semi-permeable membrane will help you to see that you become alive from life.
Thank you, sir, for your precious time. With this, we come to an end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for satisfying these inquisitive minds. I'm sure that there must be many questions amongst audience, but we will have some time.
So one or two questions from audience, I
Yes,
guess.
yes, I'm going to do the same. Anybody wants to ask any question? Just raise your hand. Any teacher?
I'll expect one question from teachers, and then possibly one or two will follow from the students. I'm sure about that. Teachers are roadmap. Teachers are creator of life of students. So one or two questions I expect from the teachers, and I'm proud to be heading the teachers of Taurian World School. Those who are wonderful in teaching, wonderful as a human being, and wonderful as a scholar.
I think Surya wants to ask a question.
Are you teachers, Surya? No, first I will start with you. Okay, let me have one.
Okay, sir. One quotation that you live the life by. One quotation that you live the life by.
I was strong and